What's going on, Broncos country? Welcome to another edition of Broncos Daily with your host, Kurt Valenti. You guys want Bronco news? Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Check back with us for the latest Bronco news, rumors, and all the best Broncos talk with all you guys from Broncos country. So, another day at the NFL Combine, and we have some Combine news for the Denver Broncos, but we also have some other breaking news that we're going to get to today. And we're going to lead off with the Denver Broncos putting a second round tender on cornerback Jaquan McMillan at $5.8 million per year. Jaquan is one of, if not the best slot corners in the NFL. We all remember him for his interception in overtime in the divisional round with the win over Buffalo last year. This is important for us. Now, by putting this second round tender on McMillan, if another team does want to match that 5.8 contract and sign him away from us, it will cost them a second round pick. So with saying that, it looks like Jaquan will be back next year. He will have a 1-year deal with Denver, and then he will become an unrestricted free agent. But listen, we have to worry about that after next year. For next year, he will be here. It looks like he will be, again, our starting slot corner. So that is big news. But what other news does it, where else does it matter on our roster, right? Like, what does that mean now for Riley Moss? And our first pick, Barron, last year, does Barron now compete with Riley Moss for that outside corner spot, right? Because if we're putting a second round tender on McMillan, we're going to pay him $5.8 million. He's going to be the slot corner. And why not? He is one of the best, if not the best in the league. So if Barron is going to get on the field this year, it's obviously not going to be to compete with Pat Surtain. It's going to be the other side, and that's Riley Moss. So what does that mean for Riley Moss? Again, Riley Moss, after this year, will be an unrestricted free agent. There's been rumors, ESPN floated out the idea that the Broncos could move Riley Moss in this offseason, especially for an offensive weapon. They proposed a trade. I was with some draft picks too, but really Riley Moss going to Philly, A.J. Brown coming back. Is that something the Broncos do? They feel comfortable, having last year's first round pick Barron going to the outside, starting. We still have Abram James, for some depth in that position. So we are in a very good spot, D-back wise with the cornerback situation in Denver. But it is interesting now with, McMillan definitely coming back. What does that mean for Riley Moss? I read today where it also said, even though he might not be moved in this offseason, he could be moved during the season up to the trade deadline, especially, Barron's getting more playing time. He looks more comfortable. So what's your thoughts on that, Broncos country? Do you like, putting this second round tender on him? I mean, I love it. Like I said, I didn't want to lose him. He's an unbelievable inside slot corner. And now, you know what? Hey, Barron, you're a first round pick last year. You know what? Put some pressure on Moss. And again, hey, if Barron shows he could be a starter and he can play on an every down in this defense outside. Listen, we still need offensive weapons. Maybe we can move Moss now again. Are we going to be able to pay Riley Moss after this season going into next season, right? I mean, starting corners get paid a lot. So we know what we're paying Surtain. Now, if Moss finishes this season in Denver and we want to re-sign him and, we're going to pay, it's going to be easily, $7-8 million, maybe more for a starting corner, a younger corner in this league. Is that somebody like we should move now, play Barron, and, maybe we get a better offensive weapon with that. So it's going to be interesting. I think it's big news. It is breaking news, but listen, no matter what happens with Barron and Moss, the best slot corner or one of the best in the NFL is back in Denver next season. Jaquan McMillan back next year with the Broncos. What's your thoughts? Do you like it? Let me know, Broncos country. A little other breaking news today. The Broncos made a couple of decisions on some of the running backs they have. First move, Jaleel McLaughlin. Been with Denver for a couple years now. We all know the story. Undrafted free agent. came out. Everybody said, watch this guy, made the roster, made a couple starts, had some home run runs in his rookie year. And I remember people saying, hey, for Christmas, you're going to want to go out and get his jersey. It hasn't panned out that way, especially since Sean Payton's come over. But, again, not a terrible career with the Broncos. I just think it's time. I think it's time that we move on. We saw last year he didn't get a lot of times. I mean, he wasn't even active in a lot of games. Then obviously we had the injuries with Dobbins, and that made him active, especially like later on in the postseason. Had a couple big fumbles. So again, I think he is an NFL player, but I think we need to move on. We have money to spend. It's a nice free agent class. It's a nice draft. A nice draft class for the running back. So, again, whether we sign 2 free agents plus R.J. Harvey, a free agent, draft a rookie plus R.J. Harvey, 2 free agents, draft a late pick with R.J. Harvey. I think we got to redo this room. I just think it's been stale. It's been the same people. So, hey, I hope he catches on. But, there's still been some rumors that the Broncos may be interested in bringing him back, right? But he is right now, since we did not tender him, he will be a free agent. So he can sign with anybody. The Broncos are still somewhat possibly interested in re-signing him. But, again, the only way I'm doing that is if I totally strike out in free agency and there's nobody I can get. If the board doesn't fall the way we want it to fall, and those running backs are taken, that's the only way I'm going. I can't make a trade. That's the only way I'm going back to a guy like McLaughlin to bring him back. But again, hope he does well. Never say never. Possibly can be back, but it looks like right now he will be a free agent. He is going to hit the open market. So that was one part of the Broncos' decision with the running backs. The second one, and again, this is only a rumor, again, nothing official, that the Broncos are interested in bringing back Tyler Bidet on a exclusive right deal, $1.75 million deal. Now, again, he's somebody where I'm not going to, be doing cartwheels and jumping up and down to bring him back. If the free agents and the draft class, they don't work out in our favor in the running back room, would I mind bringing him back for $1 million? No. Again, he's been a practice squad guy. He's been, up and down the past couple of years, practice squad, bringing him up to the roster. But, if we can sign him, we bring him to camp, he gets beat out, or obviously he's not one of the top 4 running backs to make the roster, and hopefully he's not one of the top 4, because again, he's had little spurts here and there. But do you really feel confident? We're playing in this season, we're shooting for a Super Bowl championship. Do you want to put the ball in his hands a lot? I mean, I don't. Again, NFL player, nothing special, but I just think this room has to change. I think this room has to get better. Again, if you're going to tell me he's going to be on our practice squad, and if there's an injury, I'll bring him up. Yeah, I'll sign up for that. But I want to see what happens in free agency. I want to see what happens on the trade market. I want to see what happens in the draft. I want to upgrade this room. And again, he's not going to be one of my top preferences coming back. If I can't do certain things, hey, I'll circle back to him for $1 million, a little more than $1 million. Throw him on the practice squad. I have no problem doing that. But so Broncos make 2 moves today. Broncos country, what's your thoughts? Do you like it? Do you want these guys back, or do you feel like me, where hey, thank you, but we have to move on in this room? That's how I feel. What's your thoughts on that? Heading back into the combine talk a little bit. We mentioned on one of our podcasts how the Broncos really were zoning in with a lot of interviews for middle linebackers. Well, the other position I would say they hit hard with the interviews has been the tight end spot. That obviously should not be a surprise to anybody. We have been mentioning it on this podcast. We hear it all over. The tight end room is not good. Today, listening to a couple of Denver shows, rumors were pretty strong that the Broncos may look to move on from Evan Ingram and admit it was a mistake last year and with the free agent signing, eat whatever dead cap contract he has to, but free up a little more space and go get themselves another pass catching tight end and from the draft. So at least 7 meetings with tight ends, and I'm gonna go through a couple of them. Obviously, Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon met with the Broncos. He's pretty much the only first round talent that if you were to draft a tight end, this guy is just a specimen. I mean, if you watch him, just look at him, it's just looks like an all-time athlete and how explosive, athletic he's going to be. Former teammate of Bo Nix, said he would love, he had a great interview with Broncos, would love to be teammates again with Bo. Again, we mentioned this the other day, saying about the destination. And Bo is a big reason why Denver is a destination, and the Broncos are a big-time destination, not only for free agents, but also for draft picks. So obviously, Sadiq is the one and only first-round pick. I would move up for him. I just think that position, especially if we're not going to keep Ingram, and again, we're not 100% sure about that. That was just some talk today. But whether it would be Sadiq and Ingram or Sadiq and a free agent, we talked about Ottens, we talked about a bunch of people. Obviously, the Trey McBrides, and who knows if we can do that. But there's a lot of free agents, tight ends that are out there again, and Cade Otton is probably the one we've been talking about a lot, that he could be a 3-down tight end. He's not just a receiver, not just a blocker. He's a combination. But Sadiq, 100%, I would sign up for him to be our first-round pick. Also, Max Clare, Ohio State. Again, he's more of a, pass catcher first before a blocker. And I'm fine with that. We need it. We don't have one, right? There was also talk today about, and I'm going to give you the because not the biggest fan of Adam Troutman, but we know Sean loves him. We know Sean believes in him. If he's going to be our blocker, and when we have to have a run game and, one of the younger guys or somebody we bring in, and Evan Ingram, they're not a quote-unquote big-time tight end blocker, and you need a first, third and one, fourth and one, short yardage to bring a Troutman back. That's the rumor, that Troutman is probably going to be back, and hey, it's okay if I can get a couple pass catchers. So Max Clare is another one. The name that, from a good inside source with the Denver Broncos, who just a couple different times said, just keep an eye out on this guy, Oscar Delp from Georgia, right? He hasn't had the best name. Obviously, he wasn't Brock Bowers at Georgia and stuff like that. But the word with him is the potential, and that what he didn't show at Georgia, that, at the next level, he will show what he's made of, right? Because, Georgia, again, got back to more of running the ball this year. The more physical style. He didn't throw it that much. And, Delp didn't have many opportunities, but the talent's there. They're saying the potential there. And it's something that, again, I'm a fan of players from the SEC. We know he could play, right? He plays in the SEC, and he was successful there. So just another name to, keep an eye on, just from a couple of reports I've been hearing. And again, the Broncos did meet with him. Couple more, DJ Rogers from TCU. Eli Stowers from Vanderbilt. This is the guy we were talking about on another podcast, where just when you talk about super athletic, but raw, right? Not a lot of experience, younger, not much of a blocker at all. But when you talk about a pass catching, athletic tight end, it's the kid out of Vanderbilt. And again, these were all interviews the Broncos have had. So they're kind of showing their hand a little bit, right? That, hey, tight end, middle linebacker. Those are the two majority that they interviewed. Both of these classes are pretty strong. Again, maybe one, Sadiq, is the only first rounder, but everybody else, second round, third round, these guys should be able to come right in, step in, and play. And that's what we need this year in the draft class. Again, I'll say it again. We don't need quantity. We don't need 9 draft picks this year. 9 draft picks are not going to make this roster, right? The roster's too good. There's not 9 spots to be made. But 3 or 4 legit players that can come in and play this year, especially if you're a first or second round pick. First round pick has to play this year. Second round pick should be getting a lot of time too. But, give me the quality, right? Give me those 4 draft picks. I don't need 9 picks. Like, I don't want to be moving down and moving down and moving down. Like, if anything, let's move up this year. Like, let's get more talented players. So, that's the word on the street. The Broncos are heavy into the tight ends with the combines, a lot of interviews. And I'm excited about it. It's a position of need. It's a position we have to totally upgrade. We've been stagnant in that position for years. We haven't had a pass catching tight end. Evan Ingram was supposed to be that. He wasn't. So far, he hasn't. Again, rumors today were that the Broncos maybe admitting it was a mistake, take the dead cap money, but also free up some space salary cap wise this year if they do release him. But if they do, then I 100% will be saying that we're going to be getting a tight end in free agency and probably drafting one in the first 2 or 3 rounds. What's your thoughts on it? Do any of those tight end names stand out? What's your thoughts on Evan Ingram? Do you want to keep him, release him for the cap space? Let me know. And when you guys let me know, we get into viewer comments. And again, this is one of my favorite parts of doing these podcasts, being able to interact with you guys, get your comments out on a show, answer it, debate it. So again, please, throughout all these shows, leave your comments and I will get to them on future shows. But today's comment is from another good friend of mine, Albert, Mile High Dutchy Knoppers. What's going on, Albert? Thank you for the comment. And his comment is, now that Sean has given up play calling, do you think that this will still be Sean's playbook or start with Webb's playbook? If it is still Sean Payton's playbook, do they reduce the size of it? It's actually funny you mentioned this you brought this comment because I was just listening to a Broncos show before I decided to do this podcast, and they were saying how still don't be 100% sure that Sean Payton's not gonna quote unquote call any offensive plays, and it's just going to be all of Davis. It's going to be Davis Webb's show, right? It's pretty much, they're saying it's going to be where Davis is going to be up in the press box. He calls the play down. It's not going to go, right to Bo. It's still Sean's going to be on that headset. And if Sean doesn't like it, or if Sean, wants to say to him, again, Bill Parcells did this a lot to Sean when Sean was in this situation, and Sean took over the play calling too. I want to run it here, or I don't want to throw it, or let's throw it. Let's be aggressive. Let's take a shot. So, it's not like Sean's not going to be involved. I 100% think Sean's going to be involved. I still think everything terminology and everything going in will be Sean's offense. Do I think Davis is going to add to some things? I do. I 100% do. They also said, listening today, they were saying there's a little like air raid offense in Davis Webb where he wants to push the ball downfield, go a little more no huddle, hurry up and stuff like that. So I do think we'll see that. But I think terminology will still be Sean's. I know it was an issue, like Bo did not like the play coming in late, maybe some of the longer plays. I think Davis can definitely help with that. The no huddle up tempo will definitely help with that. We'll get the play quicker, let him be able to read the defense a little more. So I think it will be a combination of that, Albert. And again, thank you for the comment. I still think it'll be Sean's playbook, but I think Davis is going to add to that. And there will be some wrinkles in there. And I think that, he's going to add some of his own things in there. But we'll see. Again, it's an interesting dynamic. People all week have said the most staggering thing from the combine is the news that Sean wasn't going to be the play caller. So we'll see how it plays out. Again, I'm pumped up about it. I think, you need a little new blood, and I think Davis is, going to be a unbelievable play caller and offensive coordinator, but Sean's still going to have a hand in this thing. So what's your thoughts on it, guys? Do you agree with Albert that maybe they shorten Sean's playbook, and is it still going to be Sean's? I still think it is. But guys, that's going to do it for another edition of Broncos Daily. Again, you want Bronco news, please subscribe. Um, Come back for, any kind of Bronco rumors, any kind of Bronco thoughts, free agency, combine, draft, any breaking news with trades. But let's go. We are 2 weeks away now, 2 weeks away from free agency. It looks like the Broncos are going to be aggressive. Again, we have money. And right after free agency, obviously the draft comes, so some trades will be happening, and this is an exciting season. This is going to be an exciting time. It's exciting times, Broncos country. We are in a Super Bowl window. We are one of the Super Bowl favorites. We are a Super Bowl contender, and I am just super pumped for this show. Super pumped to do this. Like I said, please subscribe. Also, please comment. Once you guys comment, I will get your comments and get them on other shows. But that's going to do it for now. If anything comes down, we will be back. And again, thank you for watching another edition of Broncos Daily, and go Broncos.